Let's take a look now at how the markets are performing on this day. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange faces mixed and somewhat muted Asian markets on Friday, with investors eyeing the threat that's posed by COVID-19 and also waiting for further clues about the future of U.S. monetary policy. The timing of the U.S. Federal Reserve's tapering of its monetary stimulus remains key theme on the markets. The Delta variant of the coronavirus is also posing a threat to the global economic recovery, with China moving to conduct mass testing and implementing lockdowns in badly affected regions. Karl Gevers, who is portfolio manager as well as co-founder at Benguela Global Fund Managers, joins us now to talk through these and other business stories. Mr. Gevers, good to have you with us this Friday. If you could take us through how the markets have been performing so far in midday trade.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, certainly, as you mentioned, the Asian markets, lagging a bit given the increased regulation that we've seen in China, or at least the pending regulation, and also the increasing COVID infection rate that is affecting the region. So that is certainly a negative weight on the market. However, in the US, we've seen markets chalk up new records yesterday again. And I think that's mainly driven by good earnings, where 85% of companies that have reported their second quarter earnings have beaten consensus. So that's been quite good. But, on the other hand, we've got, as you mentioned, the Fed and the market, worrying about when the tapering will occur. And I think that's played into our markets, especially in terms of our currency, with the rand continuing to weaken, currently at 14.85, and that certainly played a role in the market today. The market mixed marginally up, I think just 0.1% at the moment, the Aussie that's up by that much. Mainly driven by the rand hedges, the resource stocks. We've got Gold Fields and Anglo Gold up 3% and 2% respectively. Financials also benefiting slightly. Sanlam on their joint venture with MTN up about 1%. And then in terms of industrials coming under pressure, Massmart, the local retailer, on a poor result, down 9% today, the biggest faller. And then Naspers, another one that's under a bit of pressure given the Chinese regulatory pressures on Tencent. That's down about 1%. But yeah, overall a mixed bag today.
And we saw oil as well, Karl, dropping for the second day today and on track to declining 0.5%. What is driving moves there?
I mean, the main pressure on oil price is the view on the increase Delta variant that's impacting potential demand going forward. So I think at the moment that is the main driver on softening those prices, because you need economic activity, and these lockdowns that might come in will certainly put a dampener on oil demand.
Now, the recent unrest that we saw in KwaZulu-Natal, as well as parts of Gauteng, as well as the subsequent cyber attack on Transnet that caused major disruptions to South Africa's port operations, have cost BMW Group South Africa an estimated 200 million rand in lost vehicle sales. Talk us through those losses.
Yeah, I mean, those losses come mainly on the back of lost production, firstly, because with the unrest they lost 2 shifts, so that was quite substantial, but they've been able to try and make that up. But then they've physically, lost vehicles that were in the process of going to export to the port, in terms of being burnt and so on. But I think the major one is also the Transnet issue, where the exports, they produce the X3 in Rosslyn and in Pretoria, and for local and export, and I think the export component is being hampered by the inability to deliver to customers globally, and I think the entire loss does add up to a significant number. But I think besides that, it also has a significant reputational damage for the brand South Africa in terms of being able to deliver production in the local market.
Now, new coal mining and marketing company Thungela Resources reported interim results for the 6 months ended 30th of June after 1 month of operating as an independent business. How has the group performed so far?
Yeah, I think quite a pleasing result for the first half of 2021. The share price up 4% today. So headline earnings for the half at 3 rand or 3 rand 5 cents, to be specific. They haven't declared a dividend yet, interim dividend, but they promised to declare one at the full year period, and they on track to continue generating decent cash flows. I think, and again, we're talking about Transnet. Transnet is one of the bottlenecks for them in terms of hindering coal volumes on the rail network. So that's certainly a challenge, but they've continued, they've kept the guidance in terms of production at 15 to 16 million tons. So I think in terms of that, it's quite a good result.
Karl, thank you for this Friday's afternoon wrap as far as the markets are concerned. Thank you for your time. That's Karl Gevers. He is a co-founder and portfolio manager at Benguela Fund Managers.